Okay, welcome back to the practical session of the control structures or the control expression. So we are going to try to test our theory that we have learned in the previous lecture. So to do that, let me create a different model so that we can put all our lab sessions under control structures or control expression in it. So all right, click on the main training project, go to new model, make sure scalar is selected, my build system IntelliJ, all the JDKs and SDKs are selected. I'll name this one part 2, and I'll create, instead of part 2, SRC, I'll create my first file. So I'll right click on the SRC, new scalar file. I'll give the file name, read details, and make sure I select object. So in this program, you are going to read 2 inputs, person's first name, last name, and use the if selections to determine if the name is empty or not. So based on that, we can print our output. So since we are going to accept input from the keyboard, we need to import the scalar IO input output SDN file. So import scalar.io.stdn. Let me load all the methods under it. Then I have my main method. So the first thing is to define a variable to hold the first name and a variable to hold the second name. So var first name, a string, which is called to read line, and here I just want to enter first name, bring a space. I need to also define the second variable for last name, also a string, equal to read line, and I will enter last name. Okay, I will define another variable, error variable, to hold all errors that I will capture in this code. So I'll say var error by default is empty, so that we'll be adding every errors that I will encounter in this program to it. So now we need to test. So that if, into bracket, first name dot is empty, the is empty method determine if the content of the variable contains a text or not. So this is the block. If it is empty, then I'll add a message to the error variable. So plus equal to, I just want to add to the content of the error. I don't want to overwrite it. That's why I'm using the plus equal to. So it's like saying error equals to error plus your new message. So I'll say you did not type in first name. Then let me bring new line, so that will bring a space. I'll move to the new line. So then we want to check the next one. So I won't use if else. I'll start a different if statement. So if last name dot is empty. So here we want to make sure that both statement runs. So also error plus equal to you did not type in the last name /n, so I can have a new line. So then we need to check before we display anything. Is the content of the error variable empty or not? If it is empty, it means the person has supplied both the first name and the last name. If not, it means the person or the user has not input either the first name or the last name of both. So we need to check that condition. So say if error dot is empty, then it means the user provided both the last name and the first name. Then in that instance, we can print the data that we have. So we can say your name is plus the first name. Then we concatenate with a space. Then plus last name. Else, it means there was an error. Either I didn't supply the last name or the first name or both. So all that we have to do is to print the content of the error variable. So this is how our code will be. So now let's run it and test all the scenarios. So we are going to run it without entering first name, last name to see the message that will be displayed. We'll run it again and test for just first name without last name. So we are testing to make sure all those conditions are executed. So let me run it. Read detail. Okay. So now here we can enter Sam as first name. Then AGB, or let's make it more a second name. So now we have your name is Sam Moore. Okay, let's execute it again. This time I won't enter anything for first name and last name. So we have, you did not type in the first name. You did not type in the last name. Let me run it again. Let me just enter Sam. Then we are going to have no last name. So you did not type last name. Okay. So we can see that based on the input, it will either run this session or run this session combined to this, or run this. So especially when it comes to the else part, it will either run this one with the first and last name printed or display an error. And the error could be just you did not type first name or you did not type last name or both. So this is one example of simple if selections. Okay, we are going to try another selection statement or if expression again. This time we are going to create a program that allows the user to input an integer number and determine if the number is an even number or an odd number. And we are going to store the if expression in a variable. So let's create another file and call it, let's say, odd even. So scalar object, we name it odd even. Now, since we are going to input data, let's import our package. Import scalar.io.std. Let's have our main method. Then we have to just print a statement on the screen. So print line type in a number. Type in a number. Then based on the number, we are going to accept it into an integer variable. So we say number is an int, also read int. So we accept whatever number you enter into the number variable. Then we are going to define another variable that holds the result. So say var result equal to if expression. So say if the number mod 2 is equal to 0, then we can say that that number or we can just simply say even. So we can just indent it. Else, we can say the number is odd. So here we are storing even or odd into the result. And see the way the indentation, if you're not using a block or a curly to embrace it, then you have to make sure the indentation is accurate. So from here, I have to bring it here. Then I can now print line and say your number is space concatenate result. So make sure you don't indent. When you indent, it means it's only work under the else. So bring it out from the indentation so that it will not be part of the else block. So with this, let's run it and see. So if we input a number and it's divisible by 2, it runs here, else it runs here, and the result is stored in the variable result. Let's try it and see. Even number. So let's type our number. 5 should give us odd. Let's run it again. 6 should give us even. So our code is working. So based on this condition, it either runs the even or runs the odd. Okay, so let's pause for this video. And when we come back, we are going to introduce if-else statement also. Take care and see you in the next video.